Are you thinking about buying a Bosch dishwasher, but can't really decide, is it worth it? Or which model, maybe the 800 series or the 500 series or the 300, which one should you even buy? Well, this video is for you because I'm gonna be reviewing the Bosch 800 series dishwasher, and I'm gonna help you decide, is it worth it? I'm gonna give you the pros, and I'm gonna give you the 3 biggest cons at the end, so make sure you watch that. Let's get right into it. Let's get started with the exterior. So the exterior of the Bosch is very sleek. It's very typical of many dishwashers, but what I do like about it is, at least on this one, does not have a handle. It has the recessed handle. And what I like about it is that you can't really see any controls here. All the controls are here on the top, which is common in both the 800 series and the 500 series. And then there is just this one little light here. That's what tells you when it's on. And the other thing I like about this is the depth. So the reason why I bought this, as well as my previous dishwasher, which was the 500 series, was because these are very slim in terms of the depth, meaning from the wall to the end of the counter. This is 23 3/4 inches, which is extremely important when you have your dishwasher in a corner like I do, because if you have the kind that has the handle, or you get some of them that stick out too much, you cannot open your drawer. That is the reason that I bought this, as well as my previous one, is because I needed something very slim so I could open my drawer here in the corner. Bosch is one of the slimmest in terms of depth of any dishwasher on the market. The other thing before we open this baby up will be around the sound level. Bosch is well known as to be the quietest dishwasher in the entire industry, at least here in the US, and the 800 series is 42 decibel level, and the 500 series is a 44 decibel level, and then the 300 is a 46 decibel level. We will test that later on in the video. Make sure you stick around. I have a decibel level app on my phone, so we will test that out. But that is one of the reasons that we decided to pick the 800 series over the 500, because it was a little bit quieter, but also there's another reason why that I'll get to in a second. Oh, and if you're new around here, my name is Carrie. I am a self-taught designer as well as founder of the blog Penny Modern, and we do tons of interior design as well as kitchen design videos, so hit subscribe if you'd like more videos around that topic. Now I wanted to show you guys the inside. So there are 3 racks in all of the Bosches, and we have the lower rack and we have this middle rack. It is adjustable, so you can push on this and this will actually lower the basket. So that is definitely nice. And then this is the top rack, and this is a silverware rack. Something that's interesting about the 800 series that the 500 series doesn't have, which may or may not be a big deal, is this rack is adjustable. So you can drop this baby down, and that way you can put your little ramekins and put that in there, and that's no problem for this bad boy. And then we also have all the silverware, so it can hold an enormous amount of silverware. You can also see here it has these adjustable doohickeys here that are gonna hold your wine glasses. This is how the wine glass goes in. And so if you're a wine drinker, it has that little feature, which I think not every dishwasher has. It has these adjustable tines here, so those go down and you can put bigger items or you can leave them up. It does have this removable silverware basket, and you'll notice it's small, and this is actually smaller than the previous models, and I think they made them smaller on all of their dishwashers because they're trying to encourage people to use this for their cutlery. Some people, they really love this, but I did save my old dishwasher basket from my old dishwasher to use on here, but I've just been using the top rack and it's fine. Also, I found out on the Bosch website, they also sell additional silverware baskets that are much bigger that you can buy on the Bosch website if you want a bigger one than this. The other thing that the bottom rack has is, again, more adjustable tines. So these go up and down. You can adjust all that, and that way you can put in larger items, larger pots, larger pans. And then one thing I did learn, because I've been researching the heck out of Bosch's so I could give you guys this video, was that you definitely want to load your plates in, so like this, facing in the middle, because that's where the spray is the strongest. So I guess if you have really gnarly plates with a lot of crust on them, you would want to put them facing the middle, and that's going to get them the cleanest. One of the main differences between the different levels of dishwashers for the Bosch line are actually the level of dryer and the drying capability that each one has. For the 800 series, it has something called CrystalDry technology, which I was interested in. What it does, it uses this natural mineral called zeolite, which is inside the dishwasher. It never needs replacing, but it basically helps dry all your dishes, and it gets up to 176 degrees. And basically their claim is that your plastics will get really dry. And that was what attracted me to this, in addition to the very low decibel levels. And I will say it does seem very dry. I think one factor that you have to keep in mind in terms of getting dry dishes is making sure you always angle the dishes so that water doesn't pool on there, because if it is just sitting straight up like that, water will pool, and this drying technology won't take care of that. Here is the dishes after being dried. I just opened it just now, and I just wanted to show you guys how dry they are. This is pretty dry. So this plastic, it's dry. So I would say this one's pretty dry. So I think it is definitely drier. I put a bunch of plastic cups in here just so you guys can see. The glass is definitely all dry. There's no water in there for sure. I think it works pretty darn good. This was the 60-minute cycle because I was trying to hurry up. This one is completely dry here. Now on the 500 series, it has Pure Dry technology, which is a little bit lower level in terms of drying. But their claim on that is that you can dry plastics and you can put them on both the bottom and the top rack and it won't melt them. But the 800 series has an upgraded dryer. The other thing this has is this powerful spray arm, which supposedly gets things more clean. So I think the spray arm is a little bit different on the 800 series versus the 500 series, and I will say it gets everything really clean. I do tend to rinse my dishes before I put them in, and everything has been really dry. So I'm very happy with the performance so far, and I've had this for a couple months now. You can see here there is that spray arm, and again, this is supposed to be a very powerful spray arm. There are some settings too where you can actually adjust where you want the most power in terms of cleaning. You can put it towards the front, you can put it towards the back, and we'll go over that in a second here when we talk about some of the different settings and cycles that you can choose. In terms of where the detergent goes, you can use the pods, you can use the dry detergent. You also can use liquid detergent, but it says do not use the liquid detergents if you want to do a delayed start. So that's something to note. And then you also want to make sure, they recommend that you always use the rinse aid. It just gets things cleaner. It's gonna get it drier. So that is an essential thing that you need to use. Now we'll talk about the controls. So this is the on button. The one thing about this that is to note that these are touch sensitive controls. They're not physical buttons anymore, which previous models in years past, there have been actual buttons. And I almost always use auto, and that is their recommended. It actually has sensors inside here. I'm not sure 100% where they are, but there are sensors in there that can sense how dirty the water is, and they recommend doing the auto. It is a 2-hour cycle though, people. That is something to know. It does take 2 hours to do your dishes and get them perfectly dry. You also can do normal. That's 2 hours and 10 minutes. You can do speed 60, so if you're in a hurry, you can do just a 1-hour wash. And then you can save your favorites. So I told you guys earlier, you can do some custom design here where you have the power control. So this is how powerful the washing is. You can do that in the front or the back, or do custom. You also can do a sanitize, which is pretty awesome. It gets 99.9% of the bacteria goes away. And that is a nice feature if you need sanitization. And then there's also a CrystalDry, which is a higher temperature dry. And then once you pick all of your, and like I said, I always do auto, and then you just hit start, and then you can close it. And basically that light goes on, And that's how you know that the dishwasher is on. It used to have a red light on the floor. They stopped doing that, and now the light goes on. The other thing is that all of their dishwashers now have this home connect feature. So there is a Wi-Fi capability, which I have hooked up mine to my Wi-Fi and the app. And that way you can do remote start. And that way you can either do a timer on it or you can set it remotely. I wanted to show you guys the app. This is the Bosch Home Connect app, and it does connect to other Bosch appliances. It has an e-assistant, so you can ask it questions. You also can get information about the different features, the smart start and delayed start. It gives you a lot of videos about how to get to know your dishwasher, tips to maximize drying. And then you also can buy some of the Bosch things like the descaler and the dishwasher cleaner, which it recommends doing every few months. And the descaler would be really important if you live somewhere with hard water, and they also sell stainless steel conditioner. The other thing is about this app is that I really like, it actually connects to Alexa. So let me show you that. This dishwasher connects to Amazon Alexa. You have to install the Bosch dishwasher skill or whatever. But what I really like about this, which I went ahead and did, is it basically lets you reorder. So when your dishwasher packs get low, it will automatically reorder for you and send it to your house. So I set that up. It wasn't the easiest thing, but it wasn't the most difficult. I have 8 tabs, so you can actually put your inventory. So I counted how many tabs I had, put it in here, and then basically it automatically ordered for me the tablets. And then if you don't want it to order for you automatically, it also can just notify you. In terms of maintenance, it's relatively easy, and I feel like it's probably the same as with any other dishwasher. You definitely want to keep the seal around the door very clean. So you definitely want to clean the seal just with a damp cloth as part of your maintenance. And then the other maintenance is around the filter. So let me show you that. They do recommend to clean the filter every few months if you have a lot of food on your dishes. So it's really easy though. You just twist this and pull this up, and then there's this filter in there, and you take all this apart and you can clean it with a toothbrush or whatever. So you want to clean this off, clean the underside, and then clean this filter. This all comes apart, and then you just put this back like that, and then you're good to go. And then you also can buy that Bosch dishwasher cleaner as well as the Bosch descaler if you have the hard water, and those are available on Bosch.com. I'm gonna get to those pros and cons here in just one second, but first we're gonna do that decibel level test that I told you about. And also, if you guys like affordable modern home decor and you like interior design and kitchen ideas and bathroom ideas, hit subscribe, because that's what we're all about here at my channel. We are gonna try the decibel level thing. It is not at 0. I think ambient is 32 or 33. So we were gonna turn this on. So we have auto, and let's hear it, baby. So in terms of the decibel level test, my ambient noise in this kitchen was around 30, because I think we have the fridge going, and I do live in a city or whatever, so my ambient noise level was around 30. The highest that I saw this baby go was around 51 decibels, which obviously includes some of the ambient noise that we had in here. I think that it didn't add too much, but it's a little louder than ambient. Like, it's not gonna be completely silent. I've had 2 other Bosch dishwashers, and they were extremely quiet. It was very hard to tell if they were on, especially at the beginning part of the cycle. I think it does a great job at being quiet. The loudest part is probably when the water drains, and that is just because you can hear it going down the drain here. But in terms of the dishwasher itself, it's extremely quiet. I wanted to give you guys those 3 pros as well as 3 cons. The three things that I love most about my Bosch is definitely how quiet it is, which we just reviewed that. And then also I really like the flexibility in terms of you can make all these different adjustments on how high these go and how deep these can go. And then the tines move and everything. I love how adjustable it is. And then one of the biggest pros to me is just the reliability of Bosch. So my previous home, I had a Bosch 500 series. I had it for 6 years and never had a single issue. It really just worked beautifully. I never had to call the maintenance guy. It never had one single problem. And I never actually even cleaned the filter because I rinse all my dishes, but I didn't even know you were supposed to change the filter. And so for 5 years, I didn't change the filter and it ran perfectly fine. So I'd say if you really want a reliable dishwasher, Bosch is definitely a good brand to get. That could be one of the biggest selling points. I think in terms of the 800 series, the drying capability, it is really good. It did leave everything very dry. I think the only time I really saw a lot of water was if I left the glass perfectly level like that, some water would pool there. So you do have to angle them, but it does get things extremely dry. So now on to the three biggest cons. There are a couple of serious things that I wanted to mention that I do not like about the Bosch, and I think it's just they did some upgrades and updates with these latest dishwashers, and they're common to all the Bosches, and that is around the Wi-Fi app and really around the fact that they took away the delay start. I live in California, and in the summer, everybody's pumping their AC. Sometimes they do these rolling blackouts, and they definitely increase the energy rate that you pay to the local electric company at peak times. So you want to really try to do your laundry and your dishes and a lot of that stuff after peak time, which is after 9 p.m. to get the better rate on your electricity. I used delay start all the time with my previous Bosch, but this one, there is no longer the delayed start button on the dishwasher. It is only available on the app. So that is something that I feel like I won't use it as much because it's not a button on the dishwasher, and probably other people too. You're just gonna hit start. You're not gonna bother to go on your phone and hit the delayed start. Maybe I will, but I'm really upset that they took away the delayed start button. I did know that buying this because I saw that on another review that somebody had said, and they actually removed it from the 500 series, the 800 series, the 300 series. None of them have delayed start button. And I just thought, I think I can live without it because I really want the reliability. So I chose to buy this dishwasher anyway. And so far, so good. It's been fine. What I do is I just turn it on right before I put my kid to bed, which is around 9 o'clock, and that kind of works out. So there are a couple other cons. One of them is just the price. You know, the Bosches are pretty expensive. The 800 series is around $1,500, just regular retail price. They don't go on deal that often, and when they do, they're only like $100 or $150 discount. And then the 500 series is around $1,200, give or take. And then you can get less expensive ones around $1,000 or even under $1,000 for the 300 series or the 100 series. So I'd say the price is one of the biggest cons, but you are paying for that reliability, in my opinion, and also the cleaning capability and the drying capability that are really unparalleled, as well as the quietness. So it just has that complete package that I feel is worth the money, but it is a con if you are on a major budget. The other con that I did not realize until I had this installed is that the Bosches do not have the capability to be hardwired. So previously, a lot of dishwashers, you could have them either hardwired or you could have them plugged in. So apparently my dishwasher with this house, which was like 20-year-old dishwasher, it was a GE or something, it was hardwired in, and apparently the guy that installed it said no dishwashers are hardwired anymore. I don't know if that's true, but I did have to get them to put in a special outlet just for my dishwasher and be able to plug it in. So that is something, if you are wanting to get something that's hardwired versus a plug-in, the Bosch is not your dishwasher. Oh yeah, one other pro though I did want to mention was the depth thing. If you need something that's very slim because you're in a corner like this, that is another huge pro. But I did want to tell you guys if I thought the Bosch 800 series is worth it over the 500 series, because that also might be why you're watching this video. You're trying to decide between the two. Personally, I do not think it is worth it. It's only like a $200 difference, and you're really only getting a better dryer and this adjustable third rack and maybe a slightly more powerful washing arm. And that's pretty much it. So all the other buttons, all these features are all the same between the 800 and 500. I don't really think it's worth the extra money. The 500 series always worked really great for me. As long as you angle your glasses and stuff, it's gonna get everything dry. Maybe if you have a lot of plastic stuff, maybe you have a lot of kids and you have a ton of plastic dishes and stuff, maybe the 800 series is worth it because it gets them more dry and you don't have to do as much drying. But for me personally, next time I would probably just buy the 500 series. And I did want to give you guys one other hack that I found when I was doing all my research. And not everybody's going to know this, but a big trend that we're seeing in kitchen design is really doing panel-ready dishwashers. And Bosch does have one that's a very high-end dishwasher. It's the Benchmark series, so it's even more expensive than the 800 series, and those are panel-ready. But I did find during my research that there is a panel ready in the 300 series Bosch, and those are only around $1,000. And that may be one of the least expensive dishwashers that is panel ready. And so you are getting the reliability of a Bosch, you're getting the quietness of a Bosch. It's not going to be as quiet as the 800 series, but you're getting all that wonderful Bosch technology, and you're gonna have that panel ready look. So look into that panel ready 300 series Bosch if you are looking for a panel ready dishwasher. Make sure you hit that like button if this video gave you value. And also, if you guys want ideas to upgrade your kitchen and upgrade your space, make sure you watch this next video right here, which is tons of different kitchen design ideas to help you have that elegant, beautiful kitchen to go along with your beautiful new dishwasher. And I'll see you in the next video.